Are you struggling to find the best keywords in Google Ads? You're not exactly sure which ones lead to sales and which ones just lead to clicks. Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to find the best keywords for your account. We're going to use the Google Ads Keyword Planner to figure out what keywords are going to work for you and which keywords you should just avoid. And we're going to go through all of that step by step. Now, first off, my name's Matt. I'm the owner and operator of Tradesman Digital Marketing. We're a full service Google Ads agency. We focus on lead generation using Google Ads and generating our clients high quality leads. And right now we're going to get into it and go over how to actually figure out what keywords are going to be best for your campaigns. So to start off, we're going to come over here to Google Ads and we're going to come down here to Tools. And we're going to come under the planning part of this and we're going to click Keyword Planner. And this is going to bring us to the actual Keyword Planner inside of Google. Now, there's a lot of options outside of Google, and I'm not a big fan of all of the third-party keyword tools. They are okay at generating additional information. The issue with them is it's third-party data and it's not always accurate. They can say some keywords have a lot of traffic and then they just don't. It's really based off educated guessing, which is not something I like to do, especially when we're spending advertising money. I want to base my actual strategy off real data as opposed to third-party data. And the Google Ads Keyword Planner, that's all first-hand data from Google, so you know exactly what keywords have traffic and exactly which ones don't. So I really like using the Google Ads Keyword Planner, and I find it's the most accurate by far. So I'd highly recommend using it. And by the way, completely free inside your Google Ads account. What we're going to do is hit discover new keywords. We're going to come down here and type in one of our products. Now, first things first, as a Google Ads user, whether you're the actual company or you're the actual agency running the ads for them, you have to figure out what is going to be your most profitable services. You want to go after those first. The reason for that is generally they're easier wins. And if you can make those products win or services win, it's much easier to extrapolate on that and build out additional ad groups later, as opposed to going to lower end products where you're not making as much money on. Sometimes those lower end products can be profitable, but to keep things simple, I much prefer going after the higher end products. Generally, you can make a lot more money there quicker and it's an easier win in our experience. So I would create a plan of your top services or top products, target them, and then figure out, okay, what keywords are we going to go after? So for this example, I'm going to use pool installation. I love doing pool installation campaigns. And what types of pool installation might be another part of this? So maybe it's vinyl pool installation, fiberglass pool installation, and this could be, for example, fencing installation and different types of fencing. This could be HVAC, where you're installing brand new HVAC systems. And as you can see here, I'm doing fiberglass pool installation, vinyl pool installation, and general pool installation. The reason for this is it's going to be the higher end products. You're selling a massive pool installation. They're very expensive as opposed to selling something like chlorine. So I hope you guys can kind of understand that. Go for the more profitable products as opposed to the lower profitable ones. Normally you're going to be better off there. Of course, there's always exceptions, but that's what I would recommend doing. You could also start with the website as well. I find it doesn't do a great job at actually going after these specific keywords you want to go after. It just takes a whole bunch of data from your website and tries to come up with keywords for it. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I would just save yourself the headache and just put in the keywords and products and services you want to go after. For this one, we're going to geo-target this one. I think we should let's do the entire US, just for the sake of example. But what you should do is just go after the cities you actually are planning on targeting. This is super important because you want real data, specifically for the amount of search volume as well as the cost per click. Because if you do the entire United States and you're only servicing, let's say, Florida, you're going to have an issue with the actual data. You're not going to know what cost per click is actually real and the amount of search volume. There might be no search volume in New Brunswick, whereas in another location there is. And then the cost per click is a lot different than in one place as opposed to the other. So very important to enter in the proper location here. For example, just going to do the entire US just to show you guys some actual search volume. Then what we're going to do is hit get results. And this is something that looks normally very imposing and scary to a lot of people. It's honestly not. I'm going to walk you step by step through here. And first off is the actual keyword. So these are the keywords people are typing in and that are getting actual monthly search results. So as you can see here, here is the average number of times people search for a keyword or similar terms based on this month. And this is doing, as you can see here, November 2023 to October 2024. So depending on the year, it might be different, but this is the average monthly searches, how many people are searching every single month for this. And this is Google's best guess. The 3-month change is essentially, is it going up or going down? If you live in a state state where it's always sunny and always happy, chances are there's not going to be much of a change. However, in Canada, for example, where it gets very, very cold, 3-month change might be massive, especially if you're in Ontario and it's -20 out. People aren't really installing that many pools. So you could see a massive drop off here in the 3-month change, like as you can see here, -90%. The year-over-year change, this is essentially the same thing, but as opposed to a 3-month change, it's based over a year. As we saw during the pandemic, we saw a massive rise in pool sales, and the year-over-year was actually up quite substantially, as you can see here, plus 900% in some locations. Competition, this is a good indicator of how many people are actually bidding on these keywords and what you can expect in terms of the amount of competitors that are bidding on them and whether or not that keyword is going to be very expensive. This sometimes is very accurate and other times completely inaccurate. Google does a good job at kind of ballparking it. Sometimes it'll say it's low and it's medium. Sometimes it'll say it's medium and it's realistically low. It's hard to tell how good your competitors are at bidding on stuff. For example, you could have high competition, but if all of the actual competition are just using terrible ads, you could easily rank for this stuff. And you could get a decent quality score, send them to a basic landing page, and your cost per click is going to be relatively low compared to your competition. And this is something that a lot of people get wary about. We happily go after high competition keywords and just try. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. You can turn them off at the end of the day. But as you can see here, this one says very high competition, but the cost per click is very low. It might be that the competitors are just terrible at running ads and they're not great at it. So don't always be scared if it says high or it's medium. It's not the best indicator of whether or not this is going to be an expensive keyword. It just gives you an idea of how many people are actually running ads, which, take it or leave it. Ad impression share, this will pop up if you're already running ads. It just shows you what percentage of the total impression share you're getting. So how many times out of 100 does your ad pop up compared to the overall total. And then the next ones we have is top of page bid range, low range, and high range. And this is essentially showing what does it cost for your ad to appear in the top 3 spots. Of course, it could be lower if you're appearing at the bottom of the page, but normally you don't want that. I like to do somewhere in the middle here. So for example, let's say it's between $2 and $11, probably $7 or $8. I'd be happy bidding there and just do an estimate off that. Of course, it can't be perfect because it is estimations from Google, but it gives you a very good idea of whether or not this is going to be profitable for you in the long run. If you have to sell a product for $20, but your cost per click is $50, there's not much likelihood of you being profitable with those actual cost per clicks, which is something that, a lot of people just overlook when making a campaign. You need to make sure your numbers are in the right place before you actually proceed with filling out your entire plan. Because if you can't afford it right off the bat, there's no point in running a Google Ads campaign. A lot of people just, they're like, send it, just go spend the money and let's see what we get out of it. And it's like, dude, if you just looked at the actual cost per click metrics right off the bat, you would have seen there is no way we're going to make this profitable. And it amazes me how many clients we take on and they're like, listen, we want a cost per lead of $20. And we look at their cost per click and it's like $25. And it's like, there is no way you're going to make this profitable. And that's like the low range. It's like, there's just no way. So we politely tell them like, hey, this is just not a viable marketing platform for you. You should look somewhere else, or maybe, try YouTube ads or something like Performance Max. Maybe you could work there, but in all likelihood, probably still not going to be profitable. Now, once we have all of this popped up and we understand what this stuff is, we actually have to go through this list. And what I would recommend doing is extrapolating this out to 500. So you can just scroll through all of this and also refine keywords. This is going to save you a lot of time. This is essentially just Google's filtering system to get rid of a lot of nonsense keywords that you're not interested in. So for non-brands, that's fine. For brands, we're not going to be using brands. We're going after pool installation. So we're going to uncheck that. For contractors, I would say we could get rid of that as well. And this is just going to remove, as you can see, showing 1,000 out of 1,100 essentially. So we've already gotten rid of 100 of them. We can get rid of all the other brands because we're not doing brands. And let's keep going. Amenities, swimming pool. So we're not doing, well, let's say we don't do indoor pools. We don't do heated pools, hot tubs, outdoor pool. Yeah, we could do that. Materials. Maybe we don't do tile. We don't do paver. We don't do that. We don't do that. We don't do concrete. We only do vinyl and fiberglass. Cool. Deck installation and fence installation. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe, that you got to hire a separate company for that. Pool liners. That's normally if it breaks, we're not going to be offering that. We could get rid of it. Above ground pools, maybe you offer above ground, maybe you don't. I would recommend getting rid of that if you don't. Chlorinator, no. Spa, no. Light, electrical, railing, plumbing. A lot of these are pretty much self-explanatory and you don't need to be too worried about them. And you can get rid of a lot of them really, really quickly. So that was just the actual basic filtering systems, which is nice. Once we get through all that, what we can do is we're going to remove that for a second so you guys can see it. We're going to come down here and we're going to check off the keywords that actually apply to us. And one of the things I like looking at, it's not always perfect, but it is a very good indication of whether or not a keyword is going to lead to a sale, is looking at buying intent. So for example, pool installation is a high buying intent keyword. People are looking for pool installation when they type in that normally. If you just type in pools, you're going to have a very vague keyword with not much intent. Could this still convert? Absolutely. But are the majority of people looking for local pool installation near them when they type in pools? Probably not. They're probably looking for maybe local swimming pools they can go to. Maybe it's above ground pools. Maybe it's a specific problem for their pool. It's not much of a buying intent, so it's hard to figure out what that person is actually looking for. I'd highly recommend, at least at the beginning, focusing on high buying intent keywords. It will make your campaign a lot more successful and a lot more profitable at the beginning. Later on, you can always test keywords like pools, but I would recommend definitely going after those high buying intent keywords. Pool companies near me, sometimes this is a good one, sometimes it's not. When they say, let's say a fencing company, it shows interest that they're looking for a fencing company. Doesn't show interest in what they want from the fencing company. So maybe they're looking for a specific type of fence installation, perfect. Maybe they're looking for repairs, or maybe they're looking to paint their fences. I don't know. It's not perfect. So I would test companies probably in a separate ad group and see how it does. Pool builders, that's a good one. Pool installation near me, pool contractors near me, all high buying intent. Swimming pool builders, yep. Contractors, yep. Installers, yep. Pool construction, yep. In-ground pool, absolutely. Swimming pool companies near me, yep. Pool installation cost. This is interesting because sometimes this is fantastic, sometimes it's horrible. The reason being is this person is looking specifically for the cost. Sometimes they don't really care. They're looking for a pool. They're like, yeah, what's an approximate estimate you can give me? And then they go with it. Other times this person is very finicky about the actual cost of the pool and they're looking for the lowest possible option, which isn't great for most businesses. So it can work. It might not also work. I like testing them. I like putting cost, quote, those into like a separate ad group to see how the actual perception of cost changes for the client. So I would add cost in this scenario if we're struggling for search volume. But if all the other keywords had a ton of search volume, so like here 10,000 to 100,000, we don't need cost right off the bat. So you know what? For this example, I'm gonna leave it unchecked. But I would definitely test that later on. And also, I should talk about the actual monthly search volume. This is the amount of search volume people are checking every single month. Normally, you're going to want to aim for at least 1,000 to 10,000 searches a month on a few of your keywords. The reason for that is it gives you a decent amount of volume coming into the account. As you can see here, 1,000 to 10,000. That's fine to run a basic account with, where you're spending $15 to a few $1,000s a month. Completely fine. But if you're trying to run a campaign with, 0 to 100 searches a month, it might be a lot harder to get search volume. Then you start having to get really creative in how you're marketing. Maybe you're using Performance Max, maybe you're using display ads, maybe you're targeting higher funnel keywords where it's instead of pool installation, it's pools or something like that, where you can get more search volume in. So normally 1,000 to 10,000 on a handful of your keywords, you should be fine to run a basic campaign at. Moving forward, fiberglass pool installers near me, good. Contractors, yep. Ground pool costs, we're going to leave that. Pool contractors, yep. Local pool companies, let's throw that in there under the companies one, best pool companies, we can do that as well. Swimming pool construction, yep. In-ground pool installation near me, good. Construction companies near me, pool companies near me. Build your own pool, that's definitely not. That might be someone looking to actually build their own pool. Or maybe it's like a customized version of it. You could test that later on, but I wouldn't test it right at the beginning just because it's not super high intent there. Pool installation companies near me, yep. In-ground pool installation. Building companies near me, yep. And we're just literally going to go through this. Pool builders near me, good. Cost to build a pool, that could be in the actual cost section. In-ground pool contractors near me. Swimming pool builders, yep. Fiberglass, yeah. Pool installation companies, construction costs, we're going to do that. Independent pool installers, maybe that applies to you, maybe it doesn't. I'm going to leave that unchecked just because if we're a big company, probably not doing independent there. Just kind of out of the actual range. Best pool contractors near me, good. And honestly, you're just going to go through this entire list and find keywords that are relevant to you. I wouldn't recommend overdoing it. I wouldn't recommend like 500 keywords, but and honestly, it depends on your campaign size. If you have a massive campaign, massive budget, you're going to need more keywords to spend the money on. That being said, if you have a relatively small budget, $1,500 to anywhere to like $5,000, you don't need that many keywords. If you got anywhere from, let's say, 20 keywords in the account to 50 keywords, that's probably going to be enough, especially if it's in phrase match. You're not going to need a ton of them. Now what we're going to do is hit add keywords to create plan. And what this is going to do is essentially create a list of all the keywords that we're able to download. And this is going to be great because now we can organize the keywords normally in Excel file or a Google Sheet. I like Google Sheets just because it's easier. And as you can see, all of our keywords are now in the actual plan section. So all we have to do is come over here to save keywords. We're going to hit downloads and we're going to do either CSV, which you could use in Microsoft Sheets or Excel or whatever it's called, or Google Sheets. I like Google Sheets. It's just super simple to use. We're going to hit save. And then this is going to generate essentially a giant spreadsheet with all the keywords on it that we can easily organize. There's also an automatic organization of keywords if you have active campaigns, which you could test out. I've used it. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. I like manually organizing. I just find it's easier. And as you can see, here are all the keywords in the left side hand of the screen. Now, what I would recommend doing is essentially deleting all of this. You could also leave the average monthly searches if you wanted to. For whatever reason, this I did it for Canada, which we were targeting the US, but for the sake of keeping it simple, I'm just going to remove all of this. You could always add the search volume just so you can see what keywords are going to be top of mind here. And what we're going to do is divide them up into intent-based ad groups. So what is the end user looking for? For example, if they're looking for fencing installation, you're going to want to have keywords related to fencing installation, but you can have a lot of range on this. Google has become a lot more lenient in what they consider intent over the years. I've got an entire video showing you how to actually structure the ad groups inside your account so they're intent-based. And really, what we're going to be doing here is simply just building out ad groups that whatever that person is searching for is one idea. So for example, fiberglass pools would be in its own ad group, vinyl would be in another one, because vinyl pools are really different than fiberglass pools. And you could make a landing page that is vinyl pool installation that a lot of keywords could be under, and they're all related. For example, local vinyl pool installation, vinyl pool installation companies near me, vinyl pool installations in my area. They're all essentially the same, right? And that's really what Google is looking for nowadays, as opposed to way back when, where you would want 5,000 different landing pages and 5,000 different ad groups, and like it'd all be super customized. Google doesn't really care anymore, and honestly, you're shooting yourself in the foot having to manage all of them. So I'd highly recommend using the intent-based ad groups. Okay, so I went ahead and organized all of these, and I kind of built them around intent as best as I could. Okay, so I went ahead and finished all the ad groups and filtered them based on intent. The first one is just general pool builders and contractors. This is someone looking for a general pool installation. I think pool installation could have even gone in here, but normally they're mentioning builders or something like that, so that's why I kind of put them in there. Best pool builders near me, swimming pool builders, pool contractors, and swimming pool contractors. All relatively similar, all same buying intent here. Pool companies, I think I could have probably put pool companies and pool builders in the same one, but there was a lot of them. And I was like, you know what, let's sort them out. Companies versus like builders and general installation. The next one is the actual in-ground pool installation. So people looking specifically for in-ground pools as opposed to above ground pools. This is something that should be segmented out. Fiberglass pool installation, this should be segmented out. Vinyl pool installation, there was only one keyword, but vinyl is very different. So I'd highly recommend segmenting it out as well. The sixth one is general pool installation, which as you can see, just general pool installation. People looking for pool installation in general. Pool installation near me, companies near me, swimming pool installation, swimming pool installers, all essentially very general stuff here. And the final one is just pool construction. Honestly, I probably could have combined pool companies, construction, and builders near me, but that's just a lot of keywords in one ad group. And, you know, we could always add on more as we go as well. But honestly, not super complicated, and it's all built on intent. Now, if I were to continue building this out, I would actually create these ad groups inside of Google Ads, and I would write specific ads for each one of these ad groups. It's super important because you're able to get a higher quality score, which lowers your cost per click, which allows you to get more leads and more sales at the end of the day, and allows you to have more account success overall. Now, once you have this up and running inside your Google Ads account, you're going to need to be able to optimize it somehow. And you might want to check out our Google Ads optimization checklist. It's completely free, and the link for it is down below. It walks you through on what to do on a weekly, monthly, and 3-month basis. Also lets you jot down your results so you can see you're making progress month over month. Now, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns about Google Ads, feel free to leave a comment down below. I will do my best to answer it. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful day. Take care, and I wish you all well.